Hi class, it's Mrs. Washburn. Today we are using Google Sheets to learn how to do formulas. So we have learned a little bit about Google Sheets and some ways that we can move things around and use it. But one of the ways that is most commonly used, like in people's jobs, is to have it do some math for us. So that is exactly what we are going to be doing today. So we're going to use two functions, the sum function, which we know means to add something, or the average function, which means you add up the numbers and then divide by, so if you add up two numbers, you divide by 2. If you add up 3 numbers, you divide by 3, and you get the average. The really cool thing about Google Sheets is it makes doing this math really simple because it already has some formulas in place. Today I'm going to show you the long way and the short way to do a formula. So I'm going to start with the short way, and that is, you can see over here we're going to do the sums, and over here we're going to do the averages. So all you do is highlight two numbers, and then we look for the functions icon, and that is also under insert, and we have function, and we choose sum, average, count, max, min. I'm going to show you there's actually a bunch of functions that you could look at. You could study them all, but we don't need to. There's a bunch. But today we're just going to use two of them. So it makes it a little easier. So we highlight, and I'm going to click the drop down over here and click on sum. And then you can see the long version of the formula in this box. So there's two places we can look at it. We can look at it up here, or we can look at it in the highlighted cell. And the formula is equals sum, and it has to be SUM, just like that. And then the cells. So we have A3, has the 23 in it, and B3, if you go across, are what we are going to add up as the sum. And then I can press enter on my keyboard, and it has done the sum for me. If I was to click back into this box, this cell, I have the number 58 here, but you can tell up here that the formula is still there. It's right there. So now if I do the long way, I can do the equal sign, sum, and then the parentheses for the cells that I want. So I want A4, comma, B4, parentheses. So that is going to do the same thing, and I can press enter, and I will get my number. Pretty cool, right? So you can highlight again, click here and go to sum, press enter, because that's the easy way. Now once you have a formula put into this column like we do, this little blue square down here and the plus sign, the big plus sign looking icon for our mouse can do something really cool. If I click and hold it down and drag it all the way down to the bottom, it will fill in those sums for me because it understands what to do. So let's take a look at this because you want to make sure that it's doing this right. If I look at the formula now, it has A6 and B6. So here's A6 and B6. So we know that it's going to be the right numbers, and we can do this all the way down. If I had clicked and dragged the one that I did the long version of, I always would double check to make sure that it understood that I wanted that formula for the whole way. But if you do the function formula, I feel a little bit safer knowing that it's going to translate all the way down the column. All right, so now let's talk about average. As you can guess, we highlight the two numbers, and this time we choose average instead. And then I can press enter, and it does the work for me. How cool is that? And for this one, the long formula is just equals average. And as you start to type, you can find it there and you can click on it, and it even puts the parentheses there for you, which is really cool. So this cell is going to be F4, comma, we don't need the space, G4. and then I press enter, and it does it for me. Now I did put the long version of the formula there, and I'm going to try to highlight and pull it down. Yes, it did it right. So if we do not have an even number, we're going to have a decimal point, and it's that half, and that's okay. We know we are comfortable with decimal points and we can handle it, but those are the averages. So your task today is to fill in the sums and the averages using the functions, and I also challenge you to write out the long version of it just so that you can get some practice. Okay, that is your task. You may go ahead and get started.